Two more conferences start on Tuesday, March 11th, and that is the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the Western Athletic Conference. And looking at the bracket for the SWAC, I think that this is a three-team race, but really anything can happen in these smaller conferences, and I think that the top three teams in the conference are by far the three teams that have a chance, and that is Southern, Jackson State, and Bethune-Cookman. Now, Southern is by far the heavy favorite. They are much better than the other two teams in Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman, but Southern has not been playing as well as the other two teams have been as of late. And for Southern, this is a team that has kind of been all over the place this year. They out of conference, they had lost to Iowa, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, USC, and Nebraska were five of their out of conference losses. So those are five very, very good losses in my opinion for a team out of a conference like this. And they had won 10 in a row to start conference play before losing to Alabama State on the road by one. And then they ended up losing to Bethune-Cookman by one on the road, and then lost to Alabama State again at home by one. Now, they don't have a legit best scorer on the team. Everybody kind of contributes. Now that is averaging 75 points a game while only having one person in double digits. So, and they kind of rebound the ball well, but their strength is going to be perimeter defensively, again, of getting those steals. That is definitely what they do well. They're going to kind of force turnovers on a team. And for Jackson State, they had lost their first 13 games. They did not win a single out-of-conference game. Now they played an extremely tough out-of-conference schedule, and I think that's going to come back to help them come conference tournament time. They played Houston, High Point, Xavier, Vanderbilt, Western Kentucky, Lipscomb, St. Louis, Arkansas State, Iowa State, UTEP, Akron, and then California Baptist. Really, one of those losses is a bad loss, and that is to California Baptist. They played one home game during that stretch, and it wasn't even a true home game. It was on a neutral site game against Akron. So they hadn't played at home until January 11th. So this is a team who has really put their season together and has been playing well as of late. And then in conference, they only lost to Texas Southern by 2 on the road. They lost to Florida A&M by 5 and lost to Florida A&M by 10 at home. So this is definitely a team who is very, very good as of late and is definitely going to be able to put together a really, really strong season and come conference tournament time. Now they are kind of a similar team to to Southern. This is a team who averages 71 points a game, and they don't do it kind of with one elite scorer. They have really 5 guys who are going to kind of get close to double digits, 4 of them in double digits, and they kind of rebound, they get 36 rebounds a game, so they're going to be rebounding similar to what Southern does, and they are almost just as good defensively as what Southern is. So this is definitely a team who is going to compete with Southern. And for Bethune-Cookman, they kind of were in a similar boat as to what Jackson State was. They were not great out of conference. They went 3-10, but they played nothing close to the same toughness of schedule as what Jackson State did. They had played teams like South Carolina State, Purdue Fort Wayne, North Dakota, Gardner-Webb, Davidson. So they had some games that they were able to win and should have won, and even some games that they should have won and lost. So this is definitely still a team who's very, very good. They just need to kind of put it together in some of those games where they should win. And unlike the other two teams, they have a legit scorer who is going to be able to be their primary scorer, and that's Trey Thomas. They rebound very, very similarly to the other teams. They are a little bit less of a scoring team than what the other two are, and they're not quite as good defensively as the other two teams are. So if I'm going to pick a team, Southern's obviously the heavy favorite. I think that Southern has the easiest path to the conference championship game, but I am going to wind up going with Jackson State because of what they have played and the ability to kind of learn and play those tougher teams are going to be used to that kind of competition. And they had lost to Southern at Southern by 2. They beat them the other time. I think that they are better than Southern, and I think that they in conference play have been better than what Southern has. So I am going to go with Jackson State. And the second conference is going to be the WAC. This is really a two-team race, and that is between Utah Valley and Grand Canyon. Two very, very good teams, kind of similar teams, and those are really the only two teams that have a legit shot at winning this conference. And looking at the bracket, I think that Utah Valley obviously is going to have the easier path because they're the 1 seed. But I think that Seattle is still a decent team. They have played some pretty tough games against those top 2 teams, and even Abilene Christian could put up a game against Utah Valley. Now, Grand Canyon being the 2 seed, I do think that they have the best player in the conference, but they get the tougher draw with California Baptist because of being the 2 seed. And for Utah Valley, they had beaten Grand Canyon at home by 8. But then ended up losing to Grand Canyon by 18 on the road at Grand Canyon. They only beat Seattle by 6 and by 4, so 2 close games against the 5 seed who they may have to play. And then they did beat Abilene Christian by 13 and then by 11. So if they end up with Seattle, that's going to be a much better game than what it would be with Abilene Christian. And this team, the Wolverines, they are very, very good offensively. I think that this is a team that averages 76 points a game, gets 38 rebounds, and they're very, very good interior on the defensive end of the ball. They have 1 really main scorer, 2 other scorers who are really going to put it together, so really 3 guys who are going to have to carry this team to a victory. In Grand Canyon, this is a team who lost to Georgia by 5, had beaten Stanford, who are 2 very, very good Power 5 schools. Now, they did lose to California Baptist, who they may have to play in that second round, and they only beat them by 2. Now, the second game was without Ty and Grant Foster, who I believe is the best player in the conference. Now, if he's back, this is a team who should win this conference with ease. They are definitely high scoring. They're going to be able to keep up rebound-wise. They're very, very good defensively. I think that these 2 teams are very, very similar in Utah Valley and Grand Canyon. I think that it's really going to come down to which team is going to force more turnovers, and I think that is going to be Grand Canyon. So if I had to pick a team between these 2, I do think that Utah Valley has the easiest path. But if Utah Valley ends up losing to a team like Seattle, I think that Grand Canyon does have the best shot, and that is who I'm going to pick.